Welcome to Scrapbooking Kindergarten. I'm starting from ground one, explaining everything that I wish I would have known whenever I started scrapbooking. So, starting off, what even is scrapbooking? Scrapbooking, in the simplest form, is putting pictures on a page and writing some context around those photos to preserve your memories in a way that you will always want to look back on. It's just so much easier to remember all of the things I've scrapbooked because I have them on a page physically in my hands, and there's little supporting facts and journal entries on the page. And that way, 30 years from now, 60 years from now, I will actually be able to remember the memories in the pictures, and it will outlive me because my kids and those I pass it on to will actually be able to remember what's happening in the photos, or at least know what's going on, because I've added the journal entries, which makes scrapbooking so special and unique in comparison to other ways to preserve photos. And scrapbooking, I feel like, really helps us slow down and appreciate the small things in our life. It helps you get off of your phone and stop scrolling. You just start noticing things differently, and it genuinely starts shaping the way that you think and the way that you go through your days, because you are trying to remember your life in every detail. Although scrapbooking can be extreme and super detailed and perfectionistic, and there are people out there that are just so creative with it and come up with the most elaborate pages, that is not the heart behind scrapbooking. The heart behind scrapbooking is preserving your memories and making a keepsake that you will always cherish. So if you feel overwhelmed by the idea of scrapbooking because you see all of these professionals, I'm here to encourage you, and through this series, show you that scrapbooking is for everyone. Number two, is scrapbooking expensive? Yes and no. It can be expensive if you get all of the tools and supplies, but it does not have to be. You can have a French press and make a really great coffee at home. You do not have to have an elaborate barista espresso machine and all of that. It's the same way with scrapbooking. You can make it simple and effective and great without spending a ton of money. And I love scrapbooking as a hobby because obviously it's just amazing in and of itself, but it's also amazing that it's been around so long. So you can almost always find repurposed, thrifted, secondhand options for your scrapbooking supplies. And I highly recommend doing that because it also just adds such a fun element to your scrapbook, because you're giving other things a second life as well, like paper and stamps and stickers and all of those fun things. And it's so much more budget friendly. With scrapbooking, getting started is the important part. You can really fall into the rabbit hole of all of the professionalism and all of the tools and the fancy things. So if you can just turn that off and focus on the very basics that you need and just starting your first page and getting over that hurdle, it becomes so much easier. And after you do it for a little while, you really find your personality with scrapbooking. Having fewer items actually reduces a lot of the decision fatigue, because especially if you're a mom, you're already having to make so many decisions throughout your day. And scrapbooking is supposed to be a hobby that is fun, relaxing, pouring back into yourself at the end of the day and pouring out without so much stress. So having fewer items to try and navigate, what sticker am I going to choose? What stamp am I going to choose? What tool? And just having the necessities makes it so much easier to sit down and get it done and have a great, enjoyable time doing it with less decisions. For example, I felt like everyone used washi tape, and I saw so many people with washi tape collections and books and everything. So I got a couple things of washi tape, and I literally never used them. I think in the past year, I've only used it twice. And you will figure that out once you get started. It's better to just wait and get the necessities, figure out, get confident scrapbooking, and then go from there. So that way you're not stuck with a ton of things you don't use. Number three, what if I'm not creative? Can I still scrapbook? Absolutely, yes, 1000%. I truly believe that no one is born innately creative. I believe it is a muscle, and like anything else in life, any other skill, you have to train it and practice and put the time in for it to grow. So I feel like everyone can scrapbook because everyone can be creative. And with scrapbooking, it's so easy to quote unquote copy other people's layouts because this is just such a welcoming community and everyone is just trying to help each other out. So anytime someone scrapbooks, I feel like they're posting it for inspiration for other people. There's so many options on Pinterest and Instagram. It's really kind of gaining a lot of traction. So if you find some simple layouts that you really like and you just sit down with that layout and want to basically remake it, that is the best way to learn, and you're not having to deal with all of the decisions of where to put your pictures, how to cut them, things like that. It's just you're copying this page, and through that, you will start teaching yourself how to scrapbook. And that's practicing those scrapbooking crafty muscles where eventually, after several pages, you will kind of just get the hang of it and you will start creating your own layouts and pages and just understand how it works. And it genuinely is so simple. You can figure it out even if you are the most uncreative person. You don't have to feel so much pressure to have the perfect pages right away. If you just get your pictures on the page, write the journal entries, and just do it super simple, and after you get the hang of that for a little while, you can grow your collection of supplies and then go back and add those things or change it up a little bit, redo the entire page. Like, it is genuinely just supposed to be a fun outlet and something that you love doing. So take the pressure off and just start. Don't pressure yourself to be perfect right away or have the most gorgeous spreads, because you can always go back. Number 4, is it too late to start scrapbooking, even if I'm years behind? It is never ever too late. And I really feel like the popular saying, it's better late than never, is so popular because it's just true. And I feel like that applies so much to scrapbooking. Even if you are trying to scrapbook your kid's life and they're 3 years old now, I feel like you can most definitely catch up, and it is not a waste of your time to start now. The trick with that is just starting for today. Scrapbook whatever the most recent thing is and stay up to date with your scrapbook. Once you get those current pages down, you will have the confidence of scrapbooking, understand how it works, and find your style with it. So that way, catching up actually is relaxing and low pressure, because you're not continually in a rut of being behind, continually in a rut of being behind, continually in a rut of being behind. You're caught up to this point. So backtracking is not so stressful because you don't have that in the back of your head of, I have to catch up as soon as possible because I'm still getting behind today. So scrapbook today and then just backtrack when you have the time. Doing that will help you not get burnt out and stressed with scrapbooking and will actually help you continue to enjoy it. And I want you to give yourself so much grace if you are behind, because catching up, even though you may get frustrated and feel like it should be easy and it should be quick because these things are already passed, I should be able to just knock them out. Honestly, I feel like catching up is so much harder because you are actively trying to remember the things about those photos and those times that have passed. And if you have mom brain, that's kind of difficult. So give yourself grace if you are trying to catch up, but don't feel discouraged. Start now and you will thank yourself, because eventually you will catch up. The absolute ideal scrapbook would have been started at the beginning of their life, but the second best scrapbook starts today. Number 5 is the supplies you can totally skip with scrapbooking if you're starting out. Every new supply is a new decision you have to decide on. So if you are trying to make scrapbooking quick, simple, easy, and low stress, I would avoid all the fancy cutting tools, huge sticker books, letter alphabets in all the different colors, dozens of different paper pads and styled papers, specific holiday papers, a fancy set of new highlighters, even though they're super cute, a fancy set of new pins, and all of the different specialty adhesives. I would just stay away from all of that for now and focus on these necessary scrapbooking tools, which is obviously a scrapbook, base pages and your page protectors, a 12-inch paper trimmer because that will work for your photos themselves to cut them down to shape and change them a little bit. It'll work on the borders for them, cutting your paper. And then your paper needs to be basic, either solid or basic patterned paper. Dots, gingham, florals, just super simple, not busy, not distracting. And then if you have a specific color scheme you're going for, like for my baby's book, I'm doing yellow, green, and pink, then you can focus on those colored papers. And that will eliminate so much decision fatigue, and genuinely basic, just solid paper keeps the focus on your pictures. And then just scissors you have laying around. You don't need to get specialty scissors. And then for adhesive, I would just get a double-sided glue tape roll that is refillable, because those are so sticky and strong that they work for everything and they won't damage your photos. And it's just so much easier than having a ton of different adhesives. You have to try and remember which one does best for this or that. I would just stick with that one adhesive, because that's, again, one less decision to make. And something to keep you organized, whether that's a file organizer or a shelf drawer thing, like whatever makes sense for you and your space. Get something to keep you organized, because that will keep you sane. And from those basics, you can then choose one decorative element, whether it's a sticker book or washi tape, one tool, like a fun tool, whether that's a corner rounder or a paper puncher, and then build from there, because naturally you are going to have a preference for the type of tool or decorative element you want to use. And instead of just buying everything right off the bat, start off with one or two and try and figure out which one actually fits your style of scrapbooking and which one you enjoy using. I personally really love repeatable things, which will make my scrapbooks feel really cohesive and just start to feel like Kylie. Supplies don't make better scrapbookers. They just make fuller craft rooms and take up more space and create more decisions. Although they are fun, and I'm not discouraging you from getting those fun things, just if you are starting out, don't feel pressured to get all of those things, because it can create more stress whenever you're trying to get started. In conclusion, if you remember anything from this video, remember that scrapbooking is all about preserving your memories in a way that you will enjoy remembering. In 20 years, whenever you're sitting around with your friends and family looking at these scrapbooks, they aren't going to be dissecting what adhesives you used and what tools you used. They are going to be looking at the memories, the journal entries, the loved ones that might not be around anymore, and memories that were completely forgotten, and you're just sitting around enjoying your scrapbook for what it is about, not all of the embellishments. And that's what matters. So if you are wanting to get started with scrapbooking, don't feel pressured to keep up with the Joneses. Just put your pictures on a page, write some context, and it will be the most rewarding thing you have done for yourself in a very long time, I'm pretty sure. It does not have to look like anyone else's. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be done. It does not have to take all day. It does not have to take hours. Just start with that first page and fall in love with scrapbooking. On the next episode of Scrapbooking Kindergarten, I'm going to be talking about the first big decision you have to make, which is choosing your scrapbook. There are so many options, so I'm going to dissect that, because choosing your scrapbook will probably be the make or break between if you stick with scrapbooking or even if you get started.